Welcome back to the channel. On this episode of Ridge Runner Garage, we're going to take this 1952 Dodge truck that Lisa and I drove over 900 miles back from New York, and we're going to cut the body off it. Lays frame. If you guys didn't see the last episode where we drove this all the way from New York, go back and check it out. Let me introduce you to this 1952 Dodge. This truck originally was bought Griffith Air Force Base in Rome, New York. You're wondering what it originally would have been white. Griffiths would have painted it blue, and Mother Nature just did the rest. Great patina on this truck. I'm very excited to see what it's going to look like in clear coat down the road. Here's what we've got going on here. This truck was set down on a 2010 Crown Victoria police car, and we drove it all the way back from central New York. It took us 16 hours. We froze to death. Literally, if you see the video, you'll see we froze to death. And what our plans are is to take the Ford out of this and put some Dodge in it. We have, and I will show you guys in a little bit, another powertrain where we're going to switch this thing over to a Gen 3 Hemi. Pretty excited about that. This thing is pretty cool looking though. Little taillights, old Dodge. Right now, we've got to work on cutting the body off this. I don't know how it's attached currently to the frame. I can tell you that it's not really attached that much. So we're gonna work on taking this wood out of here, which I already took the screws out of. Pour the transmission fluid in case we didn't make it back. Oh, by the way, the transmission is leaking terrible on this thing. Dipstick tube. I didn't have a new O-ring. If you check that video out, you'll find out that we actually put a transmission in this way before we drove it 900 and something miles back here. So right now, I'm going to work on trying to get these running boards off with probably just a cutoff wheel. It looks like they're kind of half welded on here, right around this area. And I don't know, cherry picker to take the cab off in the driveway. We'll see what we can figure out. Let's see what it takes to take the hood off this thing. I don't see any bolts in this, so... Oh. Just like that. Well, that was too easy. Wasn't bolted down at all. It made it 900 something miles all the way back to South Carolina without any bolts in it. Yes. Got all the boards out that were in the bed. Let's take a closer look and see what we've got. Look at this. Couple boards going across so we could screw that down. There is the original boards from the truck right there. That's kind of interesting. It's like an archaeological dig, except for the 2010 Crown Victoria you find underneath it. The running boards are actually only tacked on. There's mounts on them, which I'll probably cut off because I'm going to need to put them on our new project, or the new chassis for this. Let's call it that, our new chassis. And my intent is to take this Crown Victoria here that's underneath this, keep it running and driving. I believe I should be able to do that without the body. And I want to find, and let me know if you guys have anything, if you're anywhere in the South Carolina, North Carolina, you know, Georgia area. What I'm trying to find is something that'll fit this wheelbase. Is about 100 and what is it? What's a Crown Victoria? 116 inches or something like that. And what I want to find is, you know how you have a car, or you go through the woods and you find a car and it's all there and it looks like it's in good shape, or it's somebody's back lot or something along those lines, and there's really nothing left of it. There's no frame. There's no hope of it ever running. Maybe it doesn't even have an engine. I don't, something like that. What I want to do is I want to take this Crown Vic frame and what's left of the belly pan here and see if I can save one of those cars that's not savable. Help, I'm falling in the car! I got it. It's tack welded right there. What was holding that on? A couple prayers. Wasn't a lot holding that on. It's okay. Held it on enough. That's all that matters. Now, I've got about 3,000 zip ties to cut. Because all that wiring harness, all this stuff, I went through almost a bag of 100 zip ties. I probably have 10 more in that bag, so the rest of it's holding a wiring harness in this thing. Gotta remove our insulation. McDonald's bag, McDonald's wrapper. They make great hole fillers, just so you know, in case you're ever in a particular situation where you need to plug a hole up. And more of the said insulation. Come on. I just kept stuffing it in here. Oh look, daylight. That's, you see that? That's the wheel. As you can see, it was starting to disassemble itself here. I don't really know how it's bolted on. Looks like there's a few things tack welded here and there. Guess I'm gonna crawl underneath this with a cutoff wheel. I think that'll be the first thing. Get the running boards off. And actually I'll investigate now, be able to see how the rest of it's stuck to the chassis. Because I don't know. You know, I'm not sure why I didn't think of using the torches before. Well, obviously, because I didn't want to set anything on fire, but I don't know why I didn't before I ran through half of a cutoff wheel. Ow, hot. Oh, hot. Oh, more fire. More fire. More fire. Okay. This is how non-permanent this setup was. The seat's not even bolted down. I think this is the original seat to the truck, though. All kinds of stuff floating around in it. We will, without a doubt, end up reusing those seats. This, unfortunately, is kind of nasty. And I don't really want to leave it, so I think I'm going to peel all this stuff off. This headliner, whatever you want to call it, stuff. Board. A dome light. I don't know if that's original to the Dodge or not. Could be. Guess for now we'll just put that right up, maybe. I don't know if it was something the military put in or... Let's stay there for now. These little buttons can stay. Alright, so I got a problem. There's 2 bolts that go through this fender, and in order to take this fender off, I'm going to have to take this door off, and this door hasn't been off in who knows how long. Take a look at the bolts. Look at these things grew there. They've been in there forever. But I just put a ratchet on that, and the bolt came right out. What do you think? Think they're all going to come out like that? Wow. That's never going to happen on a modern car. Never, not once. What I've got to do right now is I have to figure out how to take this little pin out of here. It doesn't look like it's fastened on the inside anywheres. Once I get that, I'm going to take the doors off. The reason I need to take the doors off besides of that is if I don't, and I stick this on the cherry picker, I'm going to break one of these windows, and you know what's going to happen. So how about that? Those bolts come right out. That's awesome. So anyway, I'm glad those bolts come out. We're going to be able to get the doors off this. Pretty excited. We've got everything disconnected, or at least I think we have everything disconnected. I have this whole front end disconnected. I got the doors off it. I don't have anybody here to help me, so I am going to struggle trying to get this front end off and set it over in the yard here. So hang out with me and watch me struggle. So should be all disconnected. That worked. Now, figure out how to get this cab off here. I've done this before. I used the cherry picker. It worked out pretty good. Here goes nothing. Feels a little weird. My key. All right. look at this. This is what we're left with. Well, if I had a place to sit, you think what I'm thinking? I got a couple milk crates. This is kind of weird. Go.
Do you have your seatbelt on?
Seatbelt?
Yeah, Chris has dummy.
Oh, this is so weird. Whoa. It's a whole new perspective. You gotta try this. And nothing fell off. So neat. Always wanted to do that. Oh, put it back in the pocket. Sitting in the driveway, all taken apart and very much in pieces. We have a bed. We've got a cab with, well, there's no firewall and there's no floor. And we've got ourselves a front end. Right now, what are we gonna do? We've got to find ourselves suspension, a frame, a firewall, a floor, an engine, a transmission, a fuel system, something. Check this out. This is a 2006 Chrysler Aspen. All-wheel drive and 5.7 liter Hemi. Down in there somewhere, there's a 5.7 liter Hemi. Let's take a closer look at this thing. It's actually really a really nice Aspen. Fortunately, it was inexpensive, and I'll show you why. Look at this. This is actually a really nice place to sit. Nice wood grain or fake wood, or whatever you want to call this. Heated seats. All-wheel drive. It is a nice Aspen for sure. Alpine stereo, Alpine speakers, whatever you want to call it. So the reason we got our Aspen so cheap, check this out. Because it's making milkshakes. Ew. Look at all that. That is coolant in the oil. Okay, so if you're new to this channel or you haven't watched any of our content, I actually work for a Chrysler dealership, and head gaskets on a Hemi is nothing for me. It's pretty easy. For us, we're not going to have any body panels on this. We're going to take the fenders, hood, the whole thing apart, and we're going to try to swap the firewall, keep some of the firewall and the floor in order to use it in our Dodge here. First things first, we get the cover off the 54. Throw it on this thing. Much better covered up. Now I'm not worried about my HOA telling me to please remove the farm equipment from my driveway. So as far as the Aspen is concerned, it's time to tear this thing apart. So what do you think? It's coming along, right? Actually, I need to stop and take a break from this, and for two reasons actually. One, check this out. I've got the truck loaded up with the doors and stuff that I've taken out of this. I need to go to the scrap yard, and I thought you guys might want to come along. And two is I've never heard this thing run yet. I know it needs head gaskets. Right now I've got pretty much everything out. I can continue to take the airbox, battery tray, and stuff like that out of this thing, and next we're going to find out if this actually runs, get this thing running, because from here we're going to start cutting up the body, moving all kinds of wires and things like that, and we want to make sure that we had something that runs to begin with. So let's go to the scrap yard, see how much we get for that. I'm you know, scrap steel, I don't know how much it is a ton, probably $30 something is usually is, so I don't keep up on that stuff, but see if we can at least make 30 bucks, and we'll get rid of this stuff in the meantime. Oh, they had no lines, and it's Saturday. It's because it's raining. Anybody want to guess how much this thing weighs? We're gonna find out. Here we go. Weighs 9,100 pounds. All right. And if you do happen to notice the ground here, not a place you want to have 4-ply tires. It's too bad nobody needs these doors. They're in mid shape. Probably. Well, let's go see how much that stuff weighed. We weigh 84.20. All right, well, that's a trip to the junkyard. That was our scrap yard. That was roughly 650 pounds. We'll see, and we'll see how much scrap steel is. What did we get here? 37.20 for 620 pounds. Not bad. Now right now we're gonna head back, and we're gonna put some head gaskets on that thing, get it running, and then we're gonna cut the rest of it off and come back here. All right, well, here we go. I'm gonna start ripping into this thing, find out what the story is of this motor. I'm gonna pull the head gaskets off it. Pull the heads off it, head gaskets. Probably check the lifters just to make sure, because it is a Hemi, and you know how Hemis can get, if you guys are familiar with that. They tick a lot. And see if there's any valve train issues. I don't know. I mean, doing set of heads on Hemi is actually super easy. It's even easier in LS. The hardest part is these couple bolts back here on the manifold to get out. But I sprayed them with penetrating oil, so they should be all right to get out. Only take some stuff apart, and I'll give you some updates as I go along. Ta-da! Got the right side cylinder head off, and there is nothing to report. There's nothing wrong with this gasket. I don't see anything wrong with the head. I don't see anything wrong with the cylinder. I haven't looked super close, but we're gonna get the left side off and see if we find anything. Well, we're ready to pull this head off. Let's hope we find our problem and it's fixable. Plenty of coolant in there. Let's go in for a closer look. If you just see this side, I don't see any reason why I'd be getting the old milkshake coolant water in the oil This side, however, well, let's see here. 1, 3. Cylinder number 3 here is washed out a bit. So that is where coolant is getting into the motor. Also, I see some rust going on right here. So these are the spots that I'm going to pay close attention to when I look at the gasket. Let's peel this gasket off here and see what we find. So, well, like I was saying before, I don't have anything definitive on any of the gaskets, but you can clearly see this spot right here. This is definitely where the water was getting in, because there's a little bit of rust on that, and it's kind of, you know, gooey right there. A little bit of coolant was definitely getting in this cylinder. It's definitely washed out a little bit. You know, gaskets do just kind of start to fail after mileage. I don't see anything wrong. Right now, because this is a Hemi and they obviously have cam problems. We all know that because I've done a million camshafts in these. I'm going to pull these lifters out just to verify that the rollers are in good shape. Still not really seeing any issues with the rollers. They're all really good on this side, but check that out. Water was definitely getting in there. And that was that very last lifter over here. Let me just clean this up and throw it back in. Wasn't trying to get into a video about fixing this motor too much, but I did find the source of my leak. I went to clean these cylinder heads up and they were warped really bad, so I'm hoping that that is or should be the source of how we were getting coolant in here, or in the cylinders in these things. So right now I'm going to take a few minutes, slap this thing back together and get back to stripping the Aspen. Enter a comment here. There we go. I've got the motor back together for the most part. Well, I've got the heads bolted on, torqued down, rocker arms, lifters, those rocker rails, everything is torqued down. I've got the intake bolted down pretty much just so I can plug up the fuel line so that it doesn't spray everywhere. And I've got a makeshift battery going on. And what I'm gonna do here is I've got the cap off the start relay, and I'm just gonna push on the relay and I'm gonna turn the engine over. And the reason for that is the way these Hemis are designed, the push rods are kind of in a weird setup. And I have done a lot of these, and I've got to tell you, there's so many times that I've done these, put it all back together, went to turn it over, and one of these push rods kicked off the rocker arm, and it just wasn't set right. So, plus, look at that. That's actually a little loose. I checked the roller, I checked the lifter, I checked this push rod, and that's just pumped down a little bit. I'm going to add some oil to this thing. We're going to bump this over a little bit and see if that lifter pumps up and see if we're all set with all these rocker arms. All right, I have never, not even once, ever added power to this. I've ever heard it turn over. I don't even know if the starter works. So let's go. Let's see what happens here. Okay, got a good starter. You just make sure it's in. Shouldn't start because the key's not on. It's in park. All right. And like I said, I just got the cover off the relay and I'm just closing the contacts with my finger. Didn't seem to kick a rocker off or anything like that. This one's still loose, but it should pump up once it's running. I think we're good. So I've got everything hooked up. I've got all my coils, I got my belt on, I got my hoses on. I don't have any coolant in it. I've got oil in it, it's about 1 quart low. These 2 lifters over here were pumped down, so it'll take a little bit to get those lifters pumped up. I'm only gonna see if this thing runs for just a second, and the reason why is this thing is gonna smoke like the Batmobile. There was oil in the exhaust. It's in my garage at my house, so I can't have that. I'll pull it out. Actually, I'll probably pull it out if it runs into the driveway and run it in the dark so nobody says anything. Because again, I live in a neighborhood with an HOA, so trying to get away with things. Anyways, let's see what happens.
Woohoo!
Okay. Holy smokes.
I tried to catch it. See if you can get it. It's bad. Oh my god, I'm so glad that I had the door closed.
Well, like I said,
Woo!
holy, oh my god, let's turn the fan on here.
Yeah.
Woo.
Save the wine.
Nice and oily. It's a compressor.
Oh wow. I don't want people to think it's not our house on fire.
Yeah, right?
Smoke detectors are probably gonna go off.
God, it's bad in here.
I know, I hope it doesn't go inside.
Okay. Woo!
You weren't kidding.
Alright, we knew that was
I
gonna
thought you were
smoke.
just being-
I wasn't kidding. That was bad.
Oh my god, it stinks.
Woo! Alright.
Oh,
Well, we're gonna air this out and we're gonna put some coolant in this thing.
it's like a 90s rock band.
Yeah.
A hair band.
Jeez. Alright, we're gonna let this.
Lord. That stinks.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh. Look how much higher it sits.
It does. Oh my god.
All that weight out of it.
The smoke alarms were going off in the house. So we had to pull it outside.
We'll send in the motor.
It is.
Rattle.
Yeah.
That's okay. It'll go away.
When you see your arms and your hands.
Oh, looks like I
like
had like I had hand transplants.
Yeah, it's like you have a sleeve. A tattoo sleeve.
Wow.
I know, I'm just afraid people are going to honestly call the fire department. That's a lot of smoke coming out of the house.
Told you this thing was gonna smoke bad.
Y'all, you can't even see the smoke for what it really is. Let me see if I can get a better shot. Oh yeah, y'all can see it. Seriously, I have a feeling the fire department's gonna show up. Remember what we say? If you don't know if you're those neighbors,
We're those neighbors.
you're those neighbors.
We're those neighbors. Yeah. I told you it was gonna smoke bad, but the exhaust was full of oil. Full of oil. So not gonna burn all that off, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, it's a
What do we
smoke
say?
machine.
I know it is. Like a hairband. Come on, do it. Yeah. White snake. Here I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
I
gonna.
better get out of there.
Yeah, I am not gonna sing. Woo! Oh man, it's bad.
Well, it's alive, and it smokes a lot, and I've upset my neighbors. Actually, one of my neighbors came down and stood at the end of my driveway, but I was too busy revving it up to notice. So I feel bad about that. I genuinely do. Sorry. It's no loud Mustang in the middle of the night, though, is it? You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, now that we got it running, I plan on maybe trying to let it run a little longer now that we got the coolant, the air pocket out of the coolant, and probably wait till it gets dark out again for that. Sorry. Anyways, once we do, now that we got it running, we know it runs decent, we're going to get back to stripping. So hopefully by the end of the weekend, we'll have nothing here but floor pan and whatever I got left, I'll do some measuring up on the Dodge to find out what I have to cut off as far as the firewall goes. And with more progress, more forward progress anyways. So next thing, let's get out the Sawzall. What the? Oh. And when I finally killed it. And moving on. Voila, what do you think? That's it. All stripped down. And as you can see, I got a big pile of stuff ready to go to the scrapyard out in the back of my truck. And we still have a ticking noise. When I put this together, cylinder 3 and cylinder 5 are the ones that are ticking in this. The lifters are loose. The rollers are fine. I don't really understand what the issue is. I thought they were just pump down lifters, but it's not going away. I have another set of lifters, so I am going to pull this back apart, just the one side, and replace the lifters because I know there's not a camshaft issue. So that ought to do it for this video. Do you think I wasn't going to take it for a ride? Of course I am. Eh, seems completely natural. She's smoking? No. Just a guy driving down the road with no body on his car. Hey, the door ajar light is on. Why do you suppose that is? Seems completely normal. All right, well, here she is, all back in the garage, all tucked away. Now, it's a week later. What do you think I did? I spent some time tearing the heads off this thing, replacing the lifters. Now check this out. Here's the lifters. Look at that one. See how it's down, stuck down? And so isn't that one there. Why? Because Dodge, that's why. But listen to it now. What do you think? No more ticket noise. Very happy with that. And that's awesome. So join us on our next episode where we're going to cut up the firewall on this thing a little bit more, get the dashboard out of this, and get that 1952 Dodge cab to fit it. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. It helps our channel grow. Thanks again for watching Ridge Runner Garage.